Okay, here we go. Springtime 2016. It's getting warmer. Time to start working on the cars. All these little things I didn't do before winter, I put off because it's so damn cold. I like working outside in the carport, so now it's actually 50 degrees, and we're going to tackle this CV joint. This 2006 Focus, uh, you know, I've worked on it before. I'll work on it again, no doubt. But they are nice little cars. I don't think a Focus is ever going to be confused with being sexy. But let me tell you, this thing, if it lasts like the other one we had, I got another 4 or 5 years out of this thing. But one thing I'm seeing with it right now is inner CV joint. And this is a video of what it's doing, the weird things it's doing with the CV joint, and hopefully maybe explain what I'm feeling with it, and maybe you guys can say, yeah, that's something I feel too. But anyway, I'm going to replace the CV joint, and I'll go through with you why I think it's inner CV. Okay, so what I usually do is get the new parts, lay them out, so I get myself acclimated to what the hell I'm getting myself into. Again, I've done these CV axles quite a few times, control arms, so it's not a they're all pretty much the same. It's not like they're that much different from each other. But here's the new parts. Okay, so here's our new CV axle. Got this monster off of eBay for just about nothing. So hopefully everything works out with it. Looking at the back, it's got a simple clip in the back here. So once we get all apart, we just pry it or pull it or bump it. It'll pop right out. There's no real retaining mechanism like a nut or a bolt. Most of the time they don't have it. Sometimes the Subarus will have a little pin in there. Again, it doesn't have that. On this side, of course, you got splines, threads. They give you a nut with this, so this is pretty sweet. One thing you'll find when you're trying to get these out, this car has 130,000 miles on it. Sometimes these splines are a little bit rotted. You got to get in there and increase the level of violence, I call it, until it starts coming out. And what I found is works out really well when you're doing the CV axle is go the extra mile and get a control arm. I actually got a set. I got one for the other side too. I doubt I'll put the other side in unless I need to at some time, but I find that when you're doing an axle, you may have to pop this out, this ball joint, and what the heck, just I get the axle or the control arm, sorry, and it's probably going to go within the next 20,000 miles anyway. Again, the car's got 130 some thousand miles. And the cool thing with this is they actually give you a bolt. There's a pinch bolt here for holding this ball joint on. And they pretty much guess I'm going to probably break that. So we'll see if I can prove them wrong. But anyway, with back to the CV joint. Usually when you have a CV axle, sorry, this is your outer and this would be your inner. Your inner would be closer to the engine. Usually with an outer, what you'll do is when you're driving around the parking lot or whatever, you turn the wheel tight, left or right, going slow, you hear click, 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 and that's one thing you'll see with the inner, or the outer, sorry, I'm saying everything wrong. So that's one thing you'll see with the outer CV joint. What I'm experiencing is when you're hitting the gas, when you're accelerating, the whole car shudders. It makes a little vibrating noise. I had the camera set up in the car. I took a couple videos of it, and you really can't, the camera can't pick it up. So that's one of the reasons I didn't have that part in there. What I think is wrong is this back part is a little bit shot. So you'll get a vibration when you hit the gas, but once you leave off the gas, when you're cruising 40, the vibration will go away. So again, when you hit the gas, it vibrates. When you leave off the gas, it runs fine. From everything I've seen, it isn't a control arm. I mean, it could be the control arm, don't get me wrong, but it seems like it's a inner CV joint. So, and if let's say you do have an inner, an outer, it doesn't really matter. You're replacing the whole axle. These things, to do anything other than that, to rebuild it on your own, you can do whatever you want to do. It's amazing what people will do. They'll put new boots on this, put new boots, whatever. I just find buying a new part off of eBay is a pretty good alternative to trying to rebuild it, and you got a brand new thing. The only issue I've seen with a few CV axles you get off of eBay is you got to sort of make sure these rubber boots are placed correctly. If they don't place them correctly, it puts a lot of strain. This one's placed way far out here. It puts a lot of strain on this attachment point here, and it'll pop out. But when I get this whole thing out, I'll look at it, I'll compare it side to side, make sure everything looks the same, and since I know that sometimes there's an issue, I'll make sure I don't have that problem. So here we go. Let's do it. Here we go. We're popping off the brakes here. I find these little articulating wrenches are pretty nice to be able to get in here to get to these brake screws. On this one, again, it's a Focus. It's got a couple, whatever, 7mm Allen heads back there. But anyway, these things work pretty well. So usually there's a spring clip involved. You pop that out, right? I got a little box of parts I got here. Now we're just gonna, take a little pressure off the pads, whichever way you do it. So then we can pop this out. So it comes off pretty easy. So I think the bottom is still a little bit. Okay, so what I'll do is I get a piece of wire right now. I'll hang that. You don't want to hang this caliper, just off of the hose. So I'll get a piece of wire and wire it up to the spring. It's going to be here a while, so let me get a piece of wire. Now we got to take this caliper bracket off. So I went in and turned the wheel to the left, and that gives you access to get to these bolts. So piece of cake. Get the old impact wrench, and I probably only said this a million times. If you got a few extra bucks, definitely get air tools. It makes it a lot more fun. And voila. I'll just keep putting all this crap in my box of parts here. And this is the next thing we're going to pop out. Is one of the next things. You could do this probably in a couple different ways. But this is that extra bolt they gave you for the control arm, and probably a reason why. My guess is maybe we'll break it, maybe we won't. We'll find out. Okay, I figured I'd just take this CV nut off. And again, air tools are a wonderful thing. This is 32mm. And before, when you get too far, use whatever you use, and last thing you want to do is get that thing broke free and get it welded on there because you didn't put any, any penetrating fluid. When you put it on there, it keeps that threads cool so it doesn't seize right up. There we go. So that's wonderful when it does that. Oh man, that's going to be great. That thing just pops right in and out of there. I'm a happy guy. Like I said, a lot of times these things get all beat up and get rotted in there. This looks like it's just going to work wonderful. Even better than that. So let me keep at it here. Again, next thing I'm going to do is I got to take this plastic liner off, get the control arm out of there, and the back part. That's usually fairly easy. But next tough thing I'll do is get this bolt out of here, and I'll give you a little tip on that too. Now this control arm has 2 bolts in the back. It has 1 bolt in the front and one, a pinch bolt on the ball joint. So when we get to the pinch bolt on the ball joint, we're going to take it off from the nut side. We'll chit chat about that a little bit. But when you take these off, there's no way to get your impact wrench on the nut side. So I'm forced to take it off from the bolt side, which is, on a scale of 1 to 10, that's like, if you ever have the opportunity to go on the nut side or the bolt side when you're taking off a bolt, go to the nut side. But we'll talk about that when we get a little further. So. More the same on the back side of the control arm back there, except it's harder to get to hold that nut from spinning. So I got a little wrench. With the air tool, you really don't need much to hold on to it. So I got a little wrench, a little socket deal here, and I'll throw that on, and I'll get that bolt out too. But you probably won't be able to see that. Okay, anytime you do these control arms, taking them on and off, this is the bolt that serious problems. Okay, it's 6 inches off the ground. It's got all kind of crap on it. It's just a pain in the ass. So, rule of thumb, like I was hinting to before, if you have an option, either taking a nut off or putting your air gun on the bolt side, always take the nut side. The reason is, if you put it on the bolt side, you got all that friction of whatever's in that hole that you're trying to loosen up, and on the nut side, of course you don't. All you're doing is loosening up whatever friction you have between your threads and your nut. That bolt still may break off in there once I try to, it may not want to come out. Sometimes they get rotted in there, but at least I got the damn nut off. If I got the other side and break the head off, I guess I could pop it through the other way. But anyway, if you have your druthers, put it on that side and spin the stupid thing off. Let's see if I get lucky here. Oh baby, piece of cake. I got my Torx on the other side. Ah, piece of cake. What was all the worry about, right? So that sucker came right out, living a dream. So now I got to do is get something in there, split that, and that thing will pop right out. That whole control arm will fall out. Then I'll be able to move this thing around a little bit and hopefully get the CV joint out without much of a problem. We'll see. There we go, I'm under the car. Got the control arm off. This is where that terrible bolt I was worried about fell right apart, so I give Ford credit there. So once you get the control arm out, you just pull this out of the way a little bit, and the CV joint, come out of the spline. So now we just got to take it out of the socket there. We'll get to that. The other thing I was looking at is I didn't get a wheel bearing. I didn't think I needed a wheel bearing, and thank God I don't need a wheel bearing. You never know. But I was thinking, maybe this wheel bearing would have been bad too, but it feels fine, it's snug. I'm not going to replace the stupid thing. So let me get a shot ready. Let's see if I can just get this CV joint out now. It attaches up underneath here. Let's see, can you see it? And I'm just going to, that's the problem when you don't have a lift. I'm just going to throw a screwdriver up under there and pop it out. I don't think you're going to be able to see it. I popped the stupid thing out. It was impossible for me to show you, so I just got a big pry bar, something monstrous with a big flat. This is a tire iron actually. Popped it up under there, and as you can see, a little bit of tranny fluid is going to come out, so you'll have to replace that. So we're doing pretty good. Like I said, the wheel bearing is not bad, so let's go up top and take a look at the parts we're putting in, compare them to what we had. So here we are, we got our CV joints. Again, this is the outer CV axles. I keep saying CV joints. CV axles. This is a new one, obviously shiny equals new. So you can feel it's pretty solid here, it's pretty solid in the front. This isn't too bad, it's getting loose. But in the back here, I'm not sure if you can hear some looseness there. So with these things, if they're not tight, they're junk. So you can feel it right there. So that's the vibration I think I'm getting with the car. If we look at our wonderful control arm, the new one looks amazingly new. It looks amazingly like the old one too. You'll notice with these ball joints here that the new one is pretty tough to push around. This one, not so much. So, I mean, I don't know if this is contributing at all to what I was feeling. I doubt it, but it was on its way out. And most of the time I've replaced CV axles, you don't replace them under 25,000 miles in a car. It's usually 100 and some thousand. Think about replacing a control arm too. As a kit for what you can get off eBay, pretty damn inexpensive. It's really hard. I'm really hard pressed. I'm a cheap bugger. I'm really hard pressed not to get one off of eBay and put it in there. If you had to buy it from your dealer, well, that's a whole different story. Then they try to recommend buying a whole new car, quite honestly, for as much as they charge you for car parts there. But anyway, you can see that this doesn't want to move. This does, so that gives me a good indication that this, again, may not be shot, but it's a good time to get rid of it. The rest of it, this stuff all looks pretty good. These, control arm bushings and such. And the nice thing with a Ford is all this crap comes on it. You know, it's sweet. You don't have to, I'm a BMW person. I like BMWs. Usually you have to pound these stupid things on. The Ford, it comes like this. Just pop the stupid thing in there and go. So anyway, let me slap it back together. I'm not sure if you're going to see anything interesting when I put it back together, so I'm probably not going to film it. If I do find something, I'll definitely take a couple vids. But hope you enjoyed. Again, this was more of a tutorial of what I see with when the inner CV joint goes bad, what I'm experiencing. Look how whoopy that thing is. It's much tighter than that. But anyway, you know, on acceleration, you'd feel some bright vibration. Once you let the gas off, it would go away. So thanks for watching. Bye. Okay, I thought I was done. Actually, for the most part I was. But anytime you do a CV joint, just wanted to point out, you got to retorque the bearing. The bearings, semi-critical, just don't want to slam in with the impact wrench. Probably your impact wrench isn't going to do it. This one has to be 199 foot-pounds. You look it up wherever on the web. I think SKF, who makes the bearings, one of the manufacturers of the bearings, has a torque spec for all these front wheel bearings. So anyway, 200 foot-pounds basically. So that is a big-ass torque wrench. So just plan ahead. Most torque wrenches will go to 150, something like that. This is a lot more than that. So there we go. You can hear it clicking. That's 200 foot-pounds right there. So anyway, when you take on this job, it went pretty easy, I must say that. But just remember, at the end of the day, you got to torque that stupid thing to the right torque. So hope you enjoyed the video. Bye.